What you see here was once part of a vast inland sea. These alien-looking structures were formed at a depth of over 600 feet. Yet today, they stand in stark contrast to the dry lakebed that surrounds them. This is a place we've wanted to check out for quite some time, partly because of its unique and interesting geology, but also because of the network of trails that zigzag all around these rock formations, creating a choose-your-own-adventure sort of exploration that is extremely satisfying. And if that's not enough, there are epic campsites just about everywhere you look. These are the Trona Pinnacles. Well, after a couple of really fun days exploring the trails down in Anza Borrego, we're back in the truck and we're heading north, which was the plan, but we're also really excited to kind of escape the heat. And it sounds really weird to say this because the way that we're going about escaping the heat, we're going to a place you would never go typically to escape the heat, which is where?
We are going to Death Valley.
Yeah, that's something I never thought that I would say.
Yeah, we're going to Death Valley to escape the heat because it is supposed to be 15 degrees cooler in Death Valley than it has been for us in Anza Borrego.
But before we get into Death Valley, we're going to head to another spot that I've been looking forward to checking out for quite some time, and that is Trona Pinnacles. Sort of a small area with these really interesting geologic features, and so we're heading up there to camp tonight and just poke around and explore a little bit, and that will set us up for Death Valley the following day. So really excited for Death Valley, but also really looking forward to getting to Trona Pinnacles tonight. So anyway, that's the plan. Looks like we got about 3.5 miles on this road, and then we'll be at the beginning of the loop that kind of loops around the Trona Pinnacles.
We're driving cars on a Mars tonight. We're blasting off to the stars tonight. We wanna go, go. We wanna go, go.
Man, Trona Pinnacles is so much fun. There's just these little trails that go everywhere up against these rock formations, and there's dispersed camping everywhere and campsites, and it's just like an endless series of little trails, and there's some fun little obstacles. It's better than I was expecting. And I will say, one thing I've been enjoying this whole trip, but especially today, is the level of detail that shows up in the maps in Onyx Off-Road. Because an area like this, where they have a guided loop in Onyx, which is kind of what we're doing, but there's all these offshoots, and it's really easy to get on a trail you weren't anticipating, and that's been the case in Anza Borrego as well. And so to have something like Onyx where you can tell really quickly if you get off track and get you back on track is really helpful. So it's really nice to have. But I think at this point, we are just trying to find a campsite and hopefully something that is tucked in because the wind is really bad. I think that's one thing about Trona Pinnacles is the wind can be really bad here, and it's pretty rough today. So we're going to try and find some shelter for the wind. We'll see how successful we are, but hopefully we can come up with something.
We're driving cars on a Mars tonight. We're blasting off to the stars tonight. We wanna go, go. We wanna go, go.
All right, well, we finally settled on a campsite. We drove around for about an hour checking out every possible campsite to see if there were any that would give us some sort of protection from the wind that is here right now, because it is brutal. I knew that Trona Pinnacles is known to be windy. I knew it was going to be a little bit windy today, but I did not expect 35-mile-an-hour gusts and 25-mile-an-hour sustained winds. That's what we've got for the next 4 or 5 hours. So it's really just about enduring the wind, trying to hide as best we can, stay tucked in. Thankfully, we got the campers, so I might just take a nap for a little bit to get out of the wind. But beautiful area. We've got the rock formations for company, so at least we got that, the dry lake bed and the mountains behind that. And hopefully it calms down overnight like it's supposed to, so we can do a little bit of exploring in the morning.
It's very, very windy. Is that other campsite less windy? I'm sure it's the same. Same.
It never fails. There's usually at least one night on a trip that we do where we have to, because of really bad wind, have to lean heavily on some freeze-dried meals. And I'm really excited because we picked up some freeze-dried meals at Expo last summer. I'm going to be having the black bean bowl with pork carnitas tonight. And Jeff is going to have the cheese chile relleno. So let's boil some water and see what this is going to taste like.
Five minutes later.
All right, I'm going to try my black bean bowl with pork carnitas and a mango pico de gallo. It's really flavorful. And the pork, super juicy. I like this one.
All right, cheese chili relleno. So the cheese actually melted in there. Look at that, it's got melty cheese. That looks pretty legit. Let's see how it is. I mean, that's pretty good. It's a little spicy. You could really taste the cheese. I am a big fan of Mountain House. And this is way better than Mountain House, if I'm being honest. So I think this is gonna replace the Mountain Houses that we are carrying right now. I'm pretty happy. I could eat this just camping on a normal night. It wouldn't have to even be miserable and windy, and I wouldn't be mad about this.
As I mentioned earlier, this spot where we had set up camp was at one point submerged deep underwater. And if you're anything like me, you're probably wondering how these bizarre rock formations were formed. So let me explain. Somewhere between 10,000 and 100,000 years ago, faults along the riverbed poured hot, CO2-rich water into the bottom of the lake. This carbonate reacted with calcium from existing sediments in the lake, forming tufa, a type of limestone. The tufa eventually formed pinnacles, known today as the Trona Pinnacles. Eventually, the lake dried up, leaving the spires exposed and visible on the dry lake bed. As the sun sank, the pinnacles were illuminated in a vivid shade of gold. It was a stunning sight. And it only got better once the sun dipped below the horizon.
Well, the sun has set, and what a beautiful sunset it was. The way that the light hits these rock formations, sunsets at Trona Pinnacles are beautiful, and I'm really glad we came, even though it has been windy all day. We've, I think, weathered the worst of the wind. It's supposed to die down a little bit overnight, so hopefully that is true and we have a calm morning tomorrow. But you know, sometimes it's days like today where the weather doesn't cooperate, things don't go exactly to plan, that end up being the most memorable nights on trips. And I know that this is going to be a night that we're all going to remember sitting, sheltering behind the trucks and eating dehydrated dinners. But anyway, I think now that the sun has gone down, I think we're all just going to climb into our tents because we're kind of just over the wind, but hopefully get an early jump tomorrow morning and get to explore a little bit before we head out and head into Death Valley. So good night. Just walking around and exploring the scenery, and I almost forgot to mention that yesterday, while we were just kind of taking shelter from the wind, Michelle found what I guess would be considered a geocache. It was in a kind of an interesting tucked away spot, I will say, and it was like an old-timey film canister is the only way that I could really think of to describe it. And inside there was a logbook and a few other items, and it looked like it had been there since 2016, and generally maybe every 6 months or so, somebody would find it and add to the log and put it back. And so I'm not gonna say where it was because I feel like that would ruin it, but if you follow the clues in this video, you might be able to find it. And we added some stickers and a few other things in there. So if you do find it, let us know. Because if you're into that kind of stuff, it's kind of a cool challenge, right? But yeah, if you do find it, let us know.
Good morning. It's not windy.
It's not windy. Finally, it's not windy. I think the wind kept going most of the night last night. I think it finally died down around 4 o'clock. But now there's basically no wind. What a difference a day makes.
Yep.
How'd you sleep with the wind?
I slept okay. It definitely was. It was really windy. I mean, with the wind howling all day, I could actually feel the truck shaking a bit. But yeah, it's so different right now compared to 12 hours ago.
Yeah, so we're gonna pack up the trucks and head into Death Valley, which
I'm super excited about.
Yeah, I think this is the thing we've been most excited about as we're planning this trip.
Yep.
So should be a great day, and we'll see what we get into in Death Valley.